Good morning, traders. I'm Emily Advani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Tuesday, May 13th. Today's move followed a big boost in markets yesterday in reaction to the latest from Trump on trade. During regular trading yesterday, the Dow surged 1,161 points, or 2.81%. The S&P 500 climbed 184 points, or about 3.25%. The Nasdaq jumped 779 points, or 4.35%. Bill, let's get into Tuesday's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. The S&Ps are trading lower. We're down 0.09%. That's like less than a tenth of 1%. Now, you got to remember, earlier this morning, we were down like 0.3 of 1%. So we've rallied. We're starting to see some positive action, especially in the tech stocks. The Mag 7 have turned higher for the most part. So that's really, kind of positive. And, we got the CPI data that's coming out. This is the CPI data for April that's due up before the opening bell. It's not going to be as bad as you might think, because while the tariffs took effect in April, there's a lot of stockpiling going on ahead of time. So you're not going to see this, dramatic inflation increase for the April numbers. So I think that subdued CPI report will actually be kind of a positive for the markets. What's negative for the markets are really the Republicans is this, the budget bill, the reconciliation bill they're working on. I mean, they're calling for $715 billion in cuts in Medicare and the Affordable Care Act over 10 years. I mean, this is not good. You lose votes when you start touching Social Security and Medicare. That's always been the case. I don't think that's going to change. President Trump, let's talk President Trump for a second. He's in the Middle East. Now, we all the news is about, is he going to accept this plane? I don't care about the plane. He's going to be announcing dozens of, business arrangements or deals, what have you. Weapon sales, deals on AI, energy, some space deals apparently. So you've got to watch the defense stocks, the defense sector, because these stocks could turn around higher and move higher. They're trading lower this morning, but they could move on a good deal. China, here's one that hit this morning. China's removing its ban on Boeing airplane deliveries. Remember a couple weeks ago they banned Boeing airplanes, and then other countries saying we'll take them. And then they placed an order, or China Airways placed an order for Boeing airplanes. So it was really odd. But you look at shares of Boeing, they're up 1.5% this morning. We're looking at coin ticker COIN, Charlie Oscar India Nancy. They're being added to the S&P 500. That's positive. There's few big earnings coming out at JD.com. They released a beat, yet the stock moved lower, but it's since turned higher. So I guess that's positive. Upcoming, you got Cisco and CoreWeave coming out Wednesday afternoon. Those are the key ones. Then we're going to take a look and we're going to check in on the overseas markets to see what's happening overseas. And we're looking at the DAX. The DAX is up 16 points. That's only 0.07%. I'm seeing some gains in autos and pharma stocks. The FTSE's up, 4 points, 4.79. It's up 0.4%. Gains in pharma, mining stocks providing support. Then you're looking at the CAC and pairs up 6 points, or 0.08%. Some positive action, luxury and auto stocks, but financial stocks are moving lower. Turn our attention over to Asia for a second, and we're looking at the Nikkei. The Nikkei really did start to benefit off of that weakening yen. I mean, the Nikkei rose 1.43% last night. Early this morning. The weakening yen really helped the electronic makers and auto stocks. Hong Kong, a lot of profit taking going on. It fell 1.87%. Hey, it snapped an 8-session winning streak. Okay, some profit taking was due to happen sooner or later, but Shanghai finished higher by 0.17%. I mean, the sentiment is a little cautious in China. I mean, the euphoria over the tariff reduction has started to fade, and the market's kind of awaiting the next round of talks to see what happens. Then we're taking a look at oil this morning, and oil is continuing to move higher. It's up over 1%. WTI is at $62.70 a barrel. Up 1.21%. And then you got Brent trading at $65.64, up 1.05%. I mean, there's a lot of bullish and bearish, supply, demand issues, headlines that the market has to navigate through. And tomorrow you get the OPEC is releasing its monthly report, so you got to keep an eye on these. But oil is trading higher. That's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update, Emily.
This morning, Bill, even as we're seeing, investors maybe taking some money off the table, there's plenty on the table to be watching the data and news information along with those trade talks that are making market moves. You did mention at least one key economic report. We will get to that in just a moment. But before we get there, let's get into earnings action. Bill, give us a rundown of what's happening when it comes to earnings.
JD.com, ticker JD, John David, they beat and they did it on higher revenue. You look at the stock this morning, it's trading higher by 4.33%. It was trading lower initially after the release. Then you have On Holdings, ticker ONO, Oscar Nancy, Oscar Nancy. They delivered a beat on higher revenue as well, and that stock's up 4.56% in the pre-market. Upcoming, OKLO, Oscar Kilo, Larry Oscar, this one is coming out this afternoon. Looks for a negative EPS of 11 cents, but the expected move is 13.34%. So that could be something to watch. But that's what I have for you in terms of earnings, Emily.
And now on to the economic events of the day. You did give us sort of a preview of what we may be expecting in terms of some new inflation data. So let's get into economic events. Bill, give us a look at everything we should be watching when it comes to economic events and reports today.
Sure. 8:30 a.m. we get the CPI report. 9 a.m. there's the Johnson book on retail sales. At 4:30 p.m. you get the API oil stockpiles reports. These are really the key ones coming out. In terms of the CPI, I mean, the annual inflation rate is expected to remain steady at 2.4% for April, which matches the figures in March. On a monthly basis, however, the CPI is forecasted to rise 0.3% in April, rebounding from a 0.1% decline in March. That would be the first monthly drop since May of 2020. But it's the core that you really have to watch out for. And the monthly core CPI is expected to increase by 0.3% in April, up from 0.1 in March, whereas in the annual is expected to hold steady at 2.8% in April. So we're going to be watching closely that CPI report that comes out this morning, 1 hour before the market opens, Emily.
And as soon as those numbers come out, Bill, you will see them right away using your NewsWare, having that economic alert set up. You'll see the CPI print, and then you'll also get that data very quickly on what the core is, parceling out all of those numbers so you can make smart moves on the day. The other types of data, news, and information you follow each and every morning, things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, and catalyst calls. You look at your stocks grouped together using your NewsWare, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
I'm doing my data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 17 lower, 12 higher, 1 unchanged. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. I'm seeing gains in Tesla. Which is actually kind of surprising to me. But Netflix is trading higher, Meta's trading higher, Amazon and Apple are trading higher. The only thing that's weak is Google. So that's kind of positive starting. As we get closer to the open. You're looking at some of the news behind the tape, like Apple. They're apparently working on a curved iPhone. Amazon, they did a deal with Federal Express FDX, but FDX is not replacing the prior deal that they closed down with UPS. I mean, the Federal Express will be working with Amazon and other partners on that last delivery leg, because that's always the most expensive. And in certain places, FDX will provide them a better value. Google said to be developing Pinterest-like features. That startup Perplexity AI is in the middle of raising another $500 billion, I see. Tesla weekly China sales fall to the lowest level since January. Those tax credits that you get for buying an EV vehicle, they could be gone by the end of the year. Doesn't seem to be bothering Tesla. The stock's up about 0.5% this morning. In terms of Dow Jones 30 news, we're talking Boeing, ticker BA. China lifts a ban on Boeing deliveries after the U.S.-China trade de-escalation. United Healthcare, UNH, Uncle Nancy Henry. Stock's getting slammed this morning. It's down 9.2%. They suspended their 2025 outlook and they changed their CEO. This is ugly, but I got to tell you something. If this stock hits, nine, if this stock hits 329, I'm going to be buying it. There's a certain point where it's overdone. I mean, I saw it this morning at 335, and I was thinking about it. I was like, but 329 is really my preferred entry. But United Healthcare, there's going to be some ability to make some money in that stock. 3M, Michael, the 3M resolved its PFAS related claims with the state of New Jersey, and they didn't do. I think it was 75 million, something like that they did it for. So not a bad deal. You're looking at shares of 3M. They're trading higher this morning, up 0.44%. And guess what? There's a shareholders meeting today for 3M. Starts at 8:30 a.m. ConocoPhillips, ticker COP. They're having a shareholders meeting today at 9 a.m. In terms of buyback news, CDNS, Charlie, David, Nancy, Sam, Cadence Design Systems, they were adding 1.5 billion to their share buyback program. In terms of catalyst calls, ARCT, Apple, Richard, Charlie, Tom. Citibank opened up a 90-day catalyst watch, positive catalyst watch on the stock, high conviction. Cruis Therapeutics, something to watch, ARCT, Apple, Richard, Charlie, Tom. But that's what I have for you in terms of news in the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what do you have for us today?
I'm going to go with Alibaba, ticker BABA, boy apple. This is kind of like, off the cuff because there's not a whole lot of good earnings coming out. But their earnings are coming out Thursday morning. Alibaba's earnings are out Thursday morning. Their EPS is $1.48. Expected move is 6.64%. Yesterday, call volume, 206,000 calls traded at 53,000 puts. It's almost 4-to-1. That's huge. Open, and so, I do like it because of that fact. And the major brokers, they are positive on the stock. They continue to have strong ratings on the stock. But I think with JD turning higher, I mean, my feeling on Baba just got, a little bit upticked. And I do think we're going to see some gains in the stock today. I wanted to get in 130 to 130.25, which is where was, the bid offer was when I was making this call. It's moved up a little bit, so I got to say under 131 now. But my pick of the day, Alibaba, ticker BABA, boy apple, Emily.
Alibaba, it is today. We will follow that along with you. And coming up, we will do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day before we sign off. So stick with us through that. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Cisco expands partnership with G42 for AI innovation in the UAE. Oh, that's interesting. Cisco's trading a little low, but remember, earnings are coming out tomorrow afternoon. Nice Systems, NICE, announces a collaboration agreement with Amazon Web Services. TXRH, Texas Roadhouse, and West Medicine Food announced partnership. UNH dives to a 4-year low on cost warnings and CEO exit. Uber CEO is in Riyadh, so is President Trump. Interesting. Trump, this is kind of interesting. Trump calls Saudi Crown Prince a friend. I think Biden called him a murderer, but we'll see. Here's one that's interesting. U.S. Trade Representative Greer said Trump is considering a change to see if we see results on fentanyl. He could lower those fentanyl tariffs, drop another 10% at any time. And I think that's could be in the cards. You just got to keep watching it because, China just manufactures the components. They're made elsewhere, so it's kind of hard to blame them. But Trump has to blame somebody, so he did blame China. Gave him a reason to put the fentanyl tariffs on there, but there's no reason not to take them off. So that could be a benefit too. Honda and Nissan expected to be hit hard by U.S. tariffs. Live Nation, LYV, they agreed to lease a 5,300 seat venue at Atlanta's Centennial Yards. Coinbase is really running. I mean, the stock's up 20 points this morning on that inclusion to the S&P 500. Got more room to run. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we get to trading on this Tuesday, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was International Game Tech IGT. They did report earnings this morning. was a miss on both fronts. They reported Q1 EPS of 9 cents, and that was anywhere from 18 cents or maybe a little bit more than analyst estimates out there. Revenue for the quarter came in at $583 million. This was below the estimates of $636.61 million. In terms of guidance, they see full year 2025 revenue of $2.55 billion, just missing the consensus of $2.57 billion. Now, Bill, you were trading this one yesterday. It is down after that earnings, but you typically look for your entry point. If you see a gain, you take it. Did your call end up working out yesterday?
I mean, listen, the stock opened up really high. I mean, when I looked at it yesterday morning, when I spotted it, it was the bid was 16 like 80, something like that. But then the stock opened up at $17.89. Now, it did hit a high of $18.36 in the aftermarket yesterday. I saw it trade $18.35 this morning. But I was looking for an entry point around $17. It never even came close. So I didn't do anything. I just sat on the sidelines for IGT because it never showed the weakness that I was hoping for. It was just trading at that elevated level. It's trading lower this morning, but I guess you can say there's an opportunity for the win, but I really look at this as more of a flat trade because it never came close to my entry point. So I didn't do anything with IGT yesterday, Emily.
Well, sometimes sitting on the sidelines is the win. So we will check in with you tomorrow about today's Alibaba pick of the day. Well, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.